Hi, everyone. I'm Daniel Modiano, and welcome to my podcast, Contractor Connects, a local platform built on one idea, linking vetted projects with reputable contractors while building trust and relationships right here in our community. Joining us today is John Phillips, president of the Palm Coast Flagler Chamber of Commerce. And I met John at a networking event, and he told me something very important when I first met him. He told me that the best thing when networking is to tell your story. And I believe that before you tell your story, you have to own your story. And that means understanding the things that you did right and the things that you've done wrong and taking responsibility for those things and having accountability for everything that you've done in your life. And before getting to that point, you really can't grow as an individual. But once you get to that point, it is just about telling your story. And that's something that I've grown to be able to do. And John, can you relate to that and tell us about what your experience in broadcasting and being president of the chamber?
Yeah, sure, absolutely, Dan. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you today on the podcast, and appreciate what you're doing to put this together here in Flagler County. So, so I have done quite a bit of broadcasting in my time, and
you're a lot more comfortable with the mic than I am.
Yeah,
I'm still new at this.
But at the same time, I'm sure glad I didn't have a videotape or an audio tape of my first broadcast back in 1997 because it probably wasn't very good.
Right. I feel like I'm learning on every episode.
Yeah, you get better every time, like anything you do in life. You're not going to be an expert the first time out, but I've been doing play-by-play for college basketball since 1997. I've done 700, 800, 900, somewhere in that number of games. I've done high school football. I've done minor league baseball. I do some broadcast work for NASCAR. So you like anything, you get better doing your thing, and I'm certainly not an expert, but I've done a broadcast or two during my day. And but that does help me. A lot of folks are like, well, what does that have to do with running the chamber? And quite honestly, it's just really about feeling comfortable in front of people. Right. Sometimes when I put my headset on, there might be 500 people in the stadium that I'm broadcasting from, or there might be 200,000 when I work at Daytona International Speedway for the Daytona 500. But no matter whether there's 500 people or 200,000 people, it's just about me and the listener. And I always in my mind envision there's some other person listening to this that I'm trying to talk to and paint the picture and tell the story. And I kind of translate that to the business world because oftentimes as president of the chamber, I'm asked to give presentations or speak in front of a group, or sometimes it's a small group. It's just painting a picture of sitting down in a one-on-one meeting with somebody and telling them about the chamber. And so I always try to put myself in their shoes and again, try to paint the picture of what we're talking about and just be very comfortable trying to build that one-on-one personal relationship in everything that I do, whether it's broadcasting, chamber, or anything else. It's about building a connection.
One of the things we talked about is in sports, I don't think there's anything more team-oriented, of course, and support-driven than the athletes on a team and how they support each other. That must be a really great thing for the athletes to be part of, and as a coach or as a leader in that realm, you must have been very enthusiastic.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I spent 27 years working in collegiate athletics. I'm a former collegiate athlete myself. And, there's been a lot of articles out there. There's one that was relatively recently that was in Forbes magazine. And basically it said something to the effect of why your next hire should be a former student athlete. And the reason they said that was whether you're hiring for a CFO or somebody to paint the walls or cut the grass or flip the burgers, no matter what it is, student athletes as a generality, somebody who's played at a competitive level. I'm not talking about the kid that just played Little League and nothing else after that. But if you've played at a highly competitive level, you know about teamwork because you lived it every day.
Absolutely.
You know about working through adversity because that happens every single day. You know about powering through. You know about trying to be successful. You're competitive.
Yes.
You have a drive to win. And again, that could be a drive to sell more pizzas than the guy next to you, or that could be the drive to cut the grass better or more efficiently than somebody else. But you've got a competitive fire. Some of those things are hard to teach, but you learn them through competitive sports. Right. And most of the time, you don't even realize you're learning those lessons but you really do learn those lessons. The other thing you learn through, especially at the collegiate level, and I use the term student athlete, not just athlete. You've got to balance both of those. You got to go to class. You got to pass your classes. You got to be a competitive athlete. You got to lift weights, eat right, travel, miss class for games sometimes, but you got to find balance in your life and be able to do both of those things. And so student athletes do a wonderful job doing that. I got to work with a ton of wonderful student athletes during my time, and hopefully some of the skills that I was able to share with them and I was able to learn myself, maybe I bring to the workplace at the Chamber here in Palm Coast and Flagler County.
Right. And how do you think the Chamber is, what are the priorities that the Chamber has in developing businesses in the community?
Yeah, the Chamber really stands on three core values: advocate, educate, and connect. That's kind of what we build our mission around. And starting with advocacy, not necessarily in this order, because depending on who we're talking to, the order might change, but those three things: advocate, educate, and connect. Advocate is to advocate for businesses, advocate for growth, advocate for success. Sometimes that means advocating to City Hall or to the county commissioners because of a zoning issue or a rule or a regulation. It could be a lot of different things that you advocate for. In the educational space, we try to help business owners to learn more. Usually they call it professional development. And that could be anything from learning how to use AI in your business to becoming better at accounting, to becoming a better leader. Well, how about a recent thing that we did, an educational opportunity where we educated some businesses on how to use a podcast to grow their business.
There you go.
Jay Shear did a wonderful presentation there.
I like that a lot.
And I think you might have learned something at that episode. That's why we're here today.
I jumped on that. That was really awesome.
And then, of course, the third one is what most people think of when they think of the Chamber. It's connect. Bringing people together. Sometimes we do that through our educational programs, like our Chamber 101 and program that you went to with Jay Shear. Sometimes we do that through our after-hours programs. Sometimes we'll do that through things like the Future Flagler Forum, which is coming up here in a couple weeks on November the 4th. So there's a lot of different ways for the Chamber to connect people, but ultimately it's about connecting people. It could be business to business.
I think the Chamber really changed my life. It really, become a member of the Chamber really made a difference for me because I wasn't one who was getting out enough. I wasn't really connecting. I wasn't really doing a good job of building a network and making relationships. And I think just joining the Chamber made all the difference for me, along with other networking.
I think in your case, the Chamber can help virtually any business, but then also in your case, because of what your business does at Contractor Connects, you also join the HBA, the Home Builders Association,
right.
Because of a lot of what you do is related to home projects. I won't call them home building necessarily because you don't build homes, but you do projects that the home builders and some of their contractors could help you do. So you've done the right things. You've gotten some networking through the Chamber. You've gotten some personal connections, maybe more on point for your business through the HBA. And I'm sure there's other organizations that you're part of as well. But those are two good ones for someone in your case. Yeah. And hopefully the Chamber can be a good group for virtually anybody in Flagler County and Palm Coast. If you're trying to grow your business, we can probably help connect you either with customers or potentially with people. Sometimes you're just looking for a future employee, and we can do that as well. There's wonderful resources here in town, whether that be Career Source, who provides some great connections to resources for people. When I say resources, I'm talking about human resources. And then other companies like Adecco, which is a staffing agency here that Dan Rochford runs, and he's part of the Chamber. So the Chamber's got a lot of different opportunities to do connections. Again, advocate, educate, connect. Those are our three core values.
Where do you see the Chamber going within the next 3 to 5 years as far as the direction you're going in?
Yeah, we're right now we're in a major growth mode.
Oh, really? So more members?
Yeah, so we're trying to attract more members. Obviously, the situation here in Flagler County, there's a lot of people moving here. There's a lot of, hopefully, new businesses moving here as well. It's not just all about rooftops. It's about business impact as well. And we're trying to play a role in both of those things. Growth is coming. Whether we like it or not, growth is coming to this area, and we want to be part of that. Our membership has grown. In the 6 months I've been with the Chamber, we've probably added about somewhere between 50 and 60 new members during that time period. So we've added quite a few new members. We also, of course, want to retain our current members. That's really important as well in business, and just overall grow our mission. The Chamber went through some transitions before I got there, and there were some ups and downs and things like that. But the bottom line is, since March when I arrived, the glass is always half full. goal in my world, and we are moving forward. And we're trying to do things the right way. We're trying to build relationships, put together a wonderfully professional organization, and I think we've done that, but we're continuing to grow and improve. And I have something that you've probably heard the term called a growth mindset.
That's very important.
Yeah, it
Very
for
important.
me personally and for me as the leader of the chamber, a growth mindset is incredibly
all the
important.
difference.
Because if you think you've arrived, chances are you haven't. We can
right.
all always get better at something,
day.
and that's what I'm hoping to do. Get 1% better every day. We'll all be the beneficiaries of it.
That's so important. Yeah, that's very true. What do you think is unique about Flagler County in its growth and
Yeah, Flagler County's in a unique situation. And without getting into all the history of ITT and how it started, when Flagler County was really rising and growing after the development of ITT, it really was more of a bedroom community and retirement community. A lot of folks headed to Daytona Beach or to St. Augustine to go to work, and there wasn't all that much industry necessarily here in the Palm Coast area. That is changing and has changed, past tense and future tense, and so there are more businesses coming here. We've got a pretty good amount of land to the west. Obviously, for those folks that know about Palm Coast is pretty well. I'm not saying it's all the way built out because it's not, but at the same time, there's a wonderful amount of growth opportunity to the west. And we've got some great agricultural lands out in the Bunnell area in West Flagler, but there's also some room for some opportunity there. But we also need to focus on, bringing some more businesses here to help have a good balance in our growth, and hopefully we can do that. There's been some resources set aside for some road improvements, somewhere to the tune of about $130 million for some road improvements that are going to happen here under the leadership of Paul Renner when he was Speaker of the House. So there are things happening here in Flagler County. We've got to, move at a good, deliberate pace. We can't grow too fast, but hopefully we're going to continue to do that. Responsible development. That goes back to my good friend Kelly down at VCARD, the Volusia County Association for Responsible Development, and of course their Flagler chapter of VCARD as well. But there are good things coming here to Flagler County, and that's part of the thing that attracted me to this job. I didn't want to take a job that was stagnant and just trying to keep doing the same thing every day.
You made progress every day.
Yeah, so this area's got room for growth and room for opportunity, and I want to play a role in that, and I think we can do it the right way. And good things are happening right now, and even more good things are coming in the future here to Flagler County.
Are there any upcoming events that you could tell us about?
Yeah, the one I mentioned previously, I just spoke of it briefly, is the Future Flagler Forum. That comes up on November the 4th, and we've got a unique opportunity there to really set the vision of what's happening in Flagler County. We will have the 3 city managers from the 3 biggest municipalities in Flagler County, Bunnell, Palm Coast, and Flagler Beach. Dr. Alvin Jackson, along with Lauren Johnston and Dale Martin from Flagler Beach. The 3 of them will be on the dais giving some presentations about what's happening in their communities, along with our county administrator, Heidi Petito, and then our superintendent of schools, LaShaka Moore. So those 5 leaders will be part of our panel, and they're going to give presentations, and then we're also going to open it up for Q&A. So it's almost like the state of the county. It's not called that. It's called the Future Flagler Forum because it's more forward-looking as opposed to looking backwards. But those 5 leaders are going to set the tone for us here in the next
really
2 to 3 to 5 to 10 years. So it's coming up on November the 4th. There's information at the chamber. Yeah. You can go to PCF, as in Palm Coast Flagler, PCFchamber.com. Learn more about it. It'll be at the Palm Coast United Methodist Church. That's the venue. It's a lunchtime event. I think the time is 11:30 to 1:30. But it should be a really powerful and meaningful event with those 5 visionary leaders that we'll have on the dais.
There's an event that I have coming up for Contractor Connects. It's going to be at BJ's on October 29th. That's a Wednesday, and it's going to be at 6 p.m. There's going to be 10%. It's going to be open networking and 10% off dinner and non-alcoholic beverages. Yeah,
I'm planning on attending that. That's at the BJ's down on International Speedway Boulevard in Daytona Beach. And I do plan on attending that and look forward to seeing you and a lot of other folks there. And we'll also promote that through the chamber as well.
Well, John, it was really great speaking with you today, and I'm glad you came to visit, and I hope we see each other again, which I'm sure we will very shortly.
Yeah, we'll see you at BJ's and maybe at the Future Flagler Forum. And again, Dan, I really applaud you for taking this on. This podcast is a wonderful way for you to tell your story and let people know more about you and about your business, and I'm really glad to be part of it with you today.
Thanks so much, John. I appreciate you being here.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Have a great day.